I get it every day.
Or online.
You do?
You're looking at Dan Noyes' mailbox. NOYES. You usually get his like once every couple of
Well, go throw it all in your desk tomorrow. Do that.
He sits two seats rows behind me on the floor. So just grab it and like,
They're all here.
set a tone. Start a floor tomorrow.
Okay, well then we are ready to start.
Yeah, we both.
Calling this hearing to order. It is February 7th. We're in the State House, room 10, February 7th, 2024. This is a hearing of the Joint Committee on Judicial Retention, considering the retention of Judge John Treadwell, Judge Lisa Warren, and Magistrate Barry D. Peterson. This is the public hearing. Before we start, would anyone planning to testify electronically or in person, please rise, be sworn in. Do we have to see them on screen or?
It would be helpful.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if it's a legal thing.
One more member that will be testifying is needed.
Okay.
Ask
Amber Bernier, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, can you show us, can you go on camera?
I am trying to figure out how to do that right now.
I think perhaps that's not necessary. Oh, there we are. Okay, raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in the matter before us shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yeah, here and I do.
I do, I'm
You did?
sorry.
Okay.
From Jen Nelson, I think if you're testifying.
Oh, yep,
Okay. thank
sorry.
you.
I do too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can I get an amen? Okay, because we have so few witnesses, I'm not going to impose, often when we have 200 people in the House chamber, we impose a 2-minute or 5-minute limit on witness. I will, and the committee has agreed with this, we'll let people speak as much as take the time they feel they need. Please have mercy. So, we have families to get on to. Okay, so we'll start with Jennifer Nelson.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. I lost this picture, so hold on a second here. I get that back. My name is Jen Nelson, and I'm an attorney in private practice. For the past 19 or so years, I've worked primarily up in the Northeast Kingdom, primarily in family law and some civil litigation as well. Judge Warren was the presiding judge in Orleans County in 2022 and most of 2023. And I appeared before her mostly in family law matters many times over the course of those 2 years. When Judge Warren came to Orleans County, we were, like the rest of the state, suffering from the backlog in the docket due to the pandemic. There were divorces that had been filed. I had divorces that had been filed in the Northeast region of the state back in 2018 and 2019 that still had not been scheduled for final hearings. I had one case that was a 3.5-year marriage from the date of filing for divorce, the date of marriage to the date of filing of divorce that took over 4 years to be heard. Judge Warren did an excellent job getting the docket back on track. Once she came in, cases were scheduled and they began to move. But despite the pressure of the calendar and the backlog, she was really conscientious about making sure that litigants had their day in court and that they were heard. And it was really appreciated because people were suffering at that point because their cases had been languishing. If a case was scheduled and it didn't finish, or people didn't get a chance to basically state their case, she'd reschedule it. It would be continued. It would be continued within a short period of time, and we'd be able to finish it up then. In terms of her demeanor in the courtroom, Judge Warren was well prepared. She had knowledge of the cases prior to the hearings. It was clear that she had read the motions, that she had read the file. During the hearing, she had excellent control of the courtroom. She commanded respect, and litigants and attorneys respected her, and she respected litigants and attorneys. She exhibited compassion with self-represented litigants. She would explain to them the process. She would answer their questions thoughtfully and kindly. She would explain the law. She would also ask them questions and direct them to the information that they should be providing to the court to state their case. In a few cases over the course of the 2 years, Judge Warren issued decisions that my clients did not like, or wasn't what they were hoping for, let's say that. However, I would say universally, they all felt like they had been heard and they understood the basis for her decision. Lastly, I just want to speak to Judge Warren's work ethic. I don't know if she sleeps. That was sort of a general question. She writes thoughtful, clear, well-reasoned decisions. She makes very detailed factual findings in her decisions. And probably the most noticeable thing about Judge Warren with the decisions is she writes decisions swiftly, usually within a couple weeks of the end of the hearing or after findings had been submitted by the parties. This is considerably faster than other judges I've been before, who sometimes take many months. The short turnaround is wonderful for litigants because it brings them to closure sooner, and they're able to move on in their life after some pretty painful changes. That's all I have. Thank you.
Committee, have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll hear next from Amber, and I don't know if it's an English pronunciation or a French. Bernier?
Yep, Bernier or Bernier, either or. Okay, so Judge Warren was the presiding judge here in Orleans County. I am thankful to have worked with her as she treated me with respect and made me feel comfortable in knowing I could ask her questions if needed. As a staff member working in the court, I witnessed Judge Warren manage the court schedule, keep things on track. She provided thoughtful and well-worded decisions on the record, referring to notes that she would take during the hearings. Her orders were timely. When decisions were taken under advisement, she would get the orders out within the 30 days. Judge Warren also had meaningful discussions with litigants as they changed their pleas at hearings about past actions and what their plans were for the future. As I continue around my career, I am thankful for individuals such as Judge Warren, who has helped me by guiding me and support me on a daily basis. And that is what I have.
Thank you. Committee, again, any questions? Sweet and simple. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dan McGuire. Yeah, that would probably.
Hello. First of all, there's already two people that love Judge Warren, right? And there's a reason for that, and that's because she does a great job. My name's Dan McGuire. I'm a criminal defense attorney mostly. My office is in Essex Town. I recognize some faces here. Sometimes you carry a gun, don't you? I'm honored to speak on behalf of Judge Warren. But I'm also going to, because I'm here and I see Judge Treadwell is up there, I'm going to give him 2 thumbs up too, even though he never asked to do this. I appear all over the state in front of almost every judge in the criminal court. So I've got a good sense about the judiciary in the state. And I understand and recognize the pressures that the judiciary's been having on the post-COVID hangover that we're experiencing. Judge Warren spent 2 years in Orleans County and I had work up there. And so I was in front of her dozens of times, including the first trial coming out of COVID. It was in January of 2022, maybe. Timings get all messed up because of COVID, but we're all in masks. But she was amazing. She's fair. She has a nice demeanor. She's consistent in her rulings. In high school, we learned about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Remember reading about that? Like we know that when we go to McDonald's, our French fries are going to be the same whether we buy them in Vermont or California. We know that Judge Warren is going to be consistent in her rulings and in her demeanor and how she treats people in her courtroom. She has control over the courtroom too. She's not erratic. And she has a knowledge of the law that I'm impressed with the judge. And so I'm here to offer my support for her retention. Thank you. And 2 thumbs up for Judge Treadwell as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Committee, I'm presuming nothing. Okay. Do we have anyone else? Okay. We had promised that we'd stay available next.
So I'll just take a walk, see if there's anybody out, wondering where we are.
Yeah, and then before you leave, should we stay on Zoom as well?
No, the attendees are all Zoom, so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good
yeah,
idea.
okay, but I guess we're in recess,
Maybe.
not adjourn.
I'll
Correct.
mute the next.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, that's.
We'll remain connected, but we'll step out of character.
So far.
We don't need a lot of.
Okay. Okay, well then. You're not in a position to make a decision right now, and out of respect for that, that's a responsible
Yeah, I
position.
want to make sure that I've
Yeah.
reviewed all the information first.
Okay, I suggest then that, we all work in the same building, we all have electronic communication. We'll decide between now and next week. How early do we have to warn a meeting?
As soon as possible would be good.
Oh,
If you pick a date, I can post that this evening.
there's not something in the law that the meeting has to be warned.
I don't think that's the case, because technically speaking, the open meeting law doesn't apply to the legislature. So you're free to, obviously, as Lindsay was saying, as much notice as possible, but you have, in a sense, given notice of the meeting because you're scheduled.
The agenda is, yeah.
Correct, online.
Okay, so it's just about, let's figure that the meeting next week is published and we will cancel it if the committee, and I don't think we need to meet to do that. I'll, as chair, coordinate with everybody. And we'll do that ASAP. Does that work for everybody?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Are you thinking that you would have the vote? If you don't have a follow-up meeting?
Oh, that's
have
right.
a meeting for the assignments and votes.
Right.
Yeah,
Actually,
actually,
schedule this for the same night.
Yeah.
is there any reason not to bump that all back into next week? The committee discussion?
No, we do that all, keep it for February 15th if you're, and then like you said, Senator McCormick, between now and then, you could also determine whether or not you needed anybody back for any follow-up assignments, and if not, just go ahead with your discussion.
And vote, and of course, we would vote, we could vote.
Yep.
Okay, so let's figure then that we will meet as scheduled next week. And then beyond that, we'll discuss.
And that's the 15th at 4:30.
Yeah,
Okay. I'll let you know.
yeah, no, I appreciate it. Your diligence sets a standard that embarrasses your colleagues.
I take my job seriously.
I know you do.
That being said, I'd be happy to defer to you unless you.
I will review for the committee if you want, but.
Well, I would.
Yeah, I mean, that is a thing. There are records that are confidential that are not publicly available, and they have to do with financial disclosures and judicial conduct, potential judicial conduct cases. Issues. So they're always available for us to review confidentially. And I remembered this morning that I hadn't looked at them, so that's what I was doing. And so just want to, hold my right to say I want to have somebody back in if there's something that I see there. I don't expect that there is, but just want to do due diligence given the importance of our work.
Have 6 more minutes till the time we had promised. Yeah,
Up there.
amazing how slowly time goes when you're watching.
Watch hot, never boil. I don't know, I feel like all time just moves much faster than I would like.
Well, usually it does. A watched COVID test.
Yes, we've all done that.
I always
over the
go in
last
another
few
room.
years.
Something.
Is that line
Yes.
here? Oh my God, I need to look at it in natural light, and then I'm like, I have to say that I've only had COVID once, not COVID. And when I did, it
It's like-
immediately
yeah,
turned,
that's
and I was like, oh, all the times I've been like,
That means you had a strong case.
yeah, I did.
Mhm.
It was brutal. Yeah.
I've had it a bunch of times and it was always a vague feeling.
Real, okay, so it was,
like, maybe I should.
maybe I should take a nap.
You should check the date on the test.
Yeah, or you-
Make sure it's not
They
outdated.
got a bunch of panic emails, texts about that election hour ago. Yeah, it was just like, yeah.
By the time I got it, I had been vaccinated and, you know, the rerun, I guess, I had just been boosted. It was like a cold. And then there's a whatever what's the medication that you take?
Paxlovid.
What's that? Yeah. It was a bad, not even a bad cold, it was a cold.
The only thing that I have to complain about is I'm just now starting to smell again after almost like 2 years. Oh, really?
Really?
It's always been, well, I had a little bit of smell the whole time, but it's severely muted. Really? Yeah, and now I'm just starting to be like, oh.
Can you take, have you been able to taste
Yep.
it?
Weird. Yeah.
I bet they don't taste as strong.
Weird.
How long did you have the COVID?
I've had it like 3 times and it was,
I mean, long each time or?
well, past, I tested positive, 10 days each time. But I never really got sick. It was maybe a day of feeling symptoms.
Yeah.
Off and on, but it was more boredom than. Thank God.
Yeah, yeah.
I think my sense of smell informs my perception of the, you know, of the world almost as much as my hearing or my sense.
Yeah.
You know, there are times just old
Is there a
canvas.
reason why we're live on YouTube and are we
Yeah.
muted?
Well,
We're muted.
Okay.
We were during the break. We're not
Oh,
in the moment.
well, we're about
The
to.
ending.
That seems weird.
Yes, let's discuss wrapping up. We had published that we would be here as long as there were witnesses. But, we would wait, if there were not, we would wait until 7:30. So 7:28. Any closing comments from members of the committee?
I felt that we had 3 strong judges.
I think so too. And I've got to say, having been on this committee for 2 separate go-arounds, and this go-around has been a couple of years. Usually, there's someone, we have questions about. Doesn't necessarily mean not retaining, but at least someone that we want to talk about. This strikes me that this is good, this is a happy outcome. I'm gonna exercise the chair's discretion for the last minute. We can reconvene if someone comes rushing in the door in the next 40 seconds.